and welcome to another episode of the DIY Photo Organising Podcast, focusing on topics to help you with your photo management. I am Fiona from Photo Helper.
I'm Chantal from Photos in Order. Hi, Fiona.
Hey, Chantal, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
Wonderful. All right, jumping into another QPA today. Questions. People ask again.
We have a question from Joey, from a organizer colleague of ours, actually, here in Melbourne, from Creating Positive Spaces. And he is asking, how do I rename my photos?
Great question.
How do we do that?
Yes. Well, the first thing I would say would be, why do that? I would actually look at why we would bother doing that. And there's a few reasons why. And it really does vary, I think, for your own personal reasons and why you would go to that effort, because that's a huge job. I mean, let's think we've got, on average, we could have 20, 30, 40, 50,000 photos in a photo collection, upwards of a few 100,000 photos. So yeah, you'd need to look at, obviously, why would you do that? Why would you do that, Chantal? Do you do that is the question I would ask.
I do it. But as you say, it is very time consuming, and I do it, but I have started to question whether I should maintain it, to be honest, because it is a lot of work. And even for me, I use Lightroom, and you know, that speeds things up considerably, and you can work in batches, and it's quite fast, but it's still a lot. So I sort of think for the photos that come in now, I can manage it. But when I look at the backlog I still have from, so many years back, and I might not always have renamed them back then, and I just really, I'm wondering whether I should go back and go through that pain of renaming them, or just simply add that information in a lot faster way using other metadata fields. So
like tagging or keywords, like we've just we've talked about before. But yes,
so it has become, I also feel with clients and the amount of photos everyone takes, it is definitely, I would say, still best practice to rename your files, but a lot of people don't, because of the amount of work that is involved. So I feel it might shift a little bit. How about you? What's your take on that?
Yeah, look, my take is that I think it is best practice. And look, I like the look of them being all the same. Just how it is. And it depends on how you're viewing them and things like that. But in an ideal world, yes, I would say rename them. And have them all looking beautiful and consistent. But keywording is so efficient and so searchable now. And, we always say tag to search and keyword to search. So if you have a good method and a good system for your searching and what you're including in your search, I'd say that could definitely be an option for people. So in saying that, what my recommendation would be is have a look at if you're going to rename them or tag them, there's a few things I would say to include. So Joey, I would say if you're going to rename and how would you do that? This is what I would suggest. Make sure that you're including when the photo was taken. So that's our date. So that could be a four-figure year. So you've got 4 digits for the year, and then 2 for the month, and then 2 for the day. And I would do it in that order because that's then in a consecutive order when you're searching, when you're sorting, as opposed to searching, you're sorting. And then definitely include why was the photo taken. So it could have been Christmas, it could have been a holiday, it could have been at a location, it could have been special celebration. So if you've got the why in there, that's also going to give you searchable topics. If you're also going to put that in there as a renaming of the photo or a keyword. And then we've got the other one, of course, Chantal, is who's in the photo. That's something, again, if you're going to be putting this in a renaming of the file, it could be very long.
I used to do that. I got like file names this long and I've stopped doing that.
Yeah. It's true. I think it's just, I've done that too. And, you know, this is before I sort of learnt more about being a photo organizer and helping people manage and finding out what software is available to help use the technology that's available. You know, if you've got an iPhone, you can use your photo finding, key key tagging thing.
Facial recognition.
That's what I'm after. But that's true. You know, it's definitely available. These techniques are available and out there. So facial recognition is brilliant. And then that can turn them into keywords. So yeah, definitely quicker than putting all of those people in manually into a file name to rename the file. And then the last one is where was the photo taken? Yeah. So, and often, Chantal, that's in our the meta tag, you know, if you've got location services turned on.
Yes.
So you don't need to put that in, or you can if you're in a trip and you're in London and you want all of your photos to say the word London.
Yeah.
Then there they are. But as long as those bits of information are covered. So if you used to do that, Chantal, what do you do now for your renaming of your photos?
I sort of have shortened it. So I definitely use the when, because I love to have my photos sorted chronologically. It does my head in. I hate it if it's not chronological. But that's just me.
Yeah.
So the date is always the first one, and just exactly as you described it with the reverse order, so year, month, day. The Americans might use year, day, months, I think, but you know, up to you, whatever works for you.
Sorry, do you put it as a consecutive number, or do you break it up visually?
I break it up visually. I like to use underscores, which is also quite old-fashioned. These days, you don't need to do that anymore, but I still like to use underscores rather than spaces in my file names, so that they can't be pulled apart. It shouldn't happen anymore these days, but you know, I'm a bit old-fashioned. So I've got the date, and then usually I would put the why, or you know, what was the occasion, as you said, a trip, or you know, the museum, or sometimes that includes the place, the name of the place. Like on a high level, as you just said, you know, it would be London and not, you know, Buckingham Palace and Trafalgar Square, and not the details, but just the overall sort of.
Yeah, like, you'd use the keywords for those, correct?
Yeah, I know. So I mix it up. So I don't mention people anymore, names in my file names. I prefer to tag them with keywords.
And then do you do a sequential order at the end? So just say you were in London. So just say you had the date, you had the location of London, or, you know, trip to London, or whatever you're saying.
I'm not a
file name. And then do you do a sequential? Like
I
001, 2.
add a sequence. So it's the date, and then sometimes after the date, I would add 001 to blah, blah, blah. And sometimes it would be after the why. So it would be the date, the trip, and then, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
So it depends a bit. So I'm not 100% consistent there. I should maybe not admit that. Well, that's confessions of a photo organizer.
That's it. Maybe there's another podcast for us.
So I'm sort of, you know, keep changing things a little bit, and sometimes still trying to find the best way so that it works for me. But I think that's the key. It has to work for you.
Yeah.
So, you know how you best find things, or how you search for things. And that also, when you think about that, gives you an indication about how to rename files and what tags to use and what not to use, and how to manage it all. There is no real right or wrong. So, and I also find it depends vastly on the software one's using.
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
I
in
use Lightroom too, so it's easy. It's easy to do my keywording in there, and then just yeah. No, there
like,
are a lot of different software out
so
there.
people who use Apple Photos, for example, that app doesn't actually allow you to rename photos.
No, that's
So,
correct.
and
It's
that's probably, you know, it's possibly moving forward. I think there will be other softwares or photo management systems that might not allow you to rename photos. So
and in those things you don't view them that way by the
yeah,
name, so you're
yeah,
viewing it
yeah,
by date order, or it's got the moments, and it's you're viewing it by um, a range of different things, or you've done some kind of a smart album if you on the desktop
mhm,
of a Mac or something like that, so you're not viewing them by that file
yeah,
name
yeah,
as much as we used to,
yes. Yeah.
obviously. So
So
things change, and
mm,
so yeah, so I would just question as to why you would need to do that. And I still do, but I do it in, I do that through all of my photos when I am doing the process of all of the keyword tagging.
yeah,
But I just keep it brief to the year, and the why, or the event that was taken place. It was taking place at the time, and then a sequential number. So
yeah,
that's how I do my,
yeah.
and then all of the information is in my keywords.
Hmm. Yeah, so pretty similar. Mm.
Yeah. Good.
So
Well, hopefully that's helped.
hopefully, let us know
Yeah,
how it
that's
goes,
good.
Joey, whether
Yeah.
we were
So
able
as
to answer
always,
the question.
yep, that's true. So as always, please just pop us through some more questions. We've got a few more coming up, some more episodes for questions people ask. So stay tuned and follow us on our social media channels. And as always, happy organising. I am Fiona from Photo Helper.
I'm Chantal from Photos in Order, and I'm looking forward to see you next time.
Okay, thanks. Bye for now.
Bye.